What's up, guys? How you doing? First off, real quick, I just wanted to apologize. I feel like I say it every single week, but I'm sorry that this came out mad late. A lot of things happen for me on the weekend, so sometimes I watch the episode, I react to it, but I just don't get the chance to record my review. But I'm sorry. So anyway, just getting straight into it, because this week was amazing. This week was fantastic. I can't wait for next week because of this week. If you guys watched the episode, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. We're gonna get to it. But today we're talking about episode 20 of season 3, SAO, Alicization. Synthesis, that is the name of the episode. This week answers so many questions for us, and it gets us really hyped for next week, episode 21, because freaking Kirito is fighting Yujiro, because as I called it from the very moment that he got taken by Senator Chudokin, it's gonna become an integrity knight, and it became an integrity knight. A lot of people, even, Alice and Kirito were surprised in the episode, like, oh, this happened really quick. This happened so quick, like, it hadn't even been an hour since he fought Barry Cooley and he's already an integrity knight. Well, there's a reason for that, which they kind of infer, they kind of allude to, but they don't really say it out there in your face, like, oh, this is the reason why. You kind of have to read and make sure you understand exactly what's happening. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the very beginning. Alice wakes up because obviously, she had to see some kind of backlash from her eye exploding last episode after she decided to officially, defy the Axiom Church, defy the Pontifex and the Senator and the Integrity Knights, all of that. She's like, screw you guys. I don't give a crap. I'm doing me. I'm doing whatever I want to do. Her eye goes, and then Kirito is able to heal it a little bit in this episode. She wakes up, they have a little bit of witty banter, and he's like, yeah, I healed your eye, but my sacred arts can only do so much. And she's like, don't worry about it. I actually want to feel the pain for a little bit, because it reminds me of the fact that I made this decision, myself, to defy, the church. I want something to remind me of that. I don't want that taken away from me, which actually would have made sense if they did the same thing for Yujiro. Yujiro's decision really impacted him, so much so that we saw him remember it in the previous episode. But now he's all messed up, because he belongs to the Pontifex after her weird, molestation ritual that she did on him. But anyway, she has it resolved. She's resolved everything in her mind. They're good to go. She mentions, like, where's Yujiro? Where's your friend? Where's he at? And Kirito's like, I don't know. And he's like, well, if he was gonna go the path that, was leading up to where they first met her in the garden, then he would have eventually ran into Barry Cooley, right? She's smart. She knows exactly, where he was going, where he was gonna end up. So, she's right, obviously, because we saw the fight. They end up going exactly to where they're supposed to be. But before that happens, Kirito does something interesting. He generates this Umbra element, which is not something he's ever done before, because I guess they never really needed to find anything. I'm wondering how he even got the code for the Blue Rose Sword, because he's not trying to find Yujiro. Obviously, I guess that's not possible with the skill that he has, but he's able to find the sword. So he figures if he finds the sword, he'll find him, because he's never anywhere without the sword. They go to the location of the sword. They see that everything's frozen, and Kirito's like, yeah, this is the perfect, art released from the Blue Rose Sword. But it's pretty devastating. He didn't think that, the side effects of something like this would actually happen. Excuse me. Alice gets to see Barry Cooley there, and she's like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who did this, because he's frozen, but he's deeply frozen. She even mentions the system call that Senator Chudokin, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, uses, deep freeze on him. Barry Cooley is there. We're actually able to talk to him, like, we're able to hear, like, maybe his last words, because he's not just frozen, he's turned to stone. That's what Alice says. She remembers the memory of him telling that he's able to do that. And he's like, bro, do what you need to do, take care of Alice and do everything, because if you don't save Yujiro right now, the freaking Pontifex is going to take advantage of him, turn him into an integrity knight, and take advantage of the labyrinth of memories that he has. Actually, Barry Cooley says a couple of interesting things during this conversation that makes me feel like he knows way more than he was letting on, but he never actually had the opportunity or maybe the strength to do it. He even talks about the seal of the right eye. And he's like, oh, I see that you were able to break it. In my 300 years of attempting to do this, I wasn't even able to do it. you know, because she sees that she got a bandana over her eye. Obviously, her eye exploded. So the conversation was short but sweet with Barakuli. Kirito notices that the sword is there in the ice. He goes boink with his sword. He was able to pick it out pretty fastly. And you see him for the first time in a long time, technically dual wielding. He's holding, you know, his sword, you know, and he's holding the blue rose sword. It reminds me of the first season of SAO, where he's wielding, you know, the dark repulsor, and then the other one that he's got. And then Alice is like, oh, usually the only people that are able to dual wield are like pretentious nobles who think that they're actually, you know, stronger than they really are. But it looks good on you, you know, like it feels like it's natural for you. And Kirito's like, nah, even I'm not able to dual wield, you know, that's not something I'm able to do. Hopefully this is some foreshadowing. Will he get, you know, his dual wielding skill back? I don't know, man, I don't know, but I really hope so. You know, the dream is kind of shut down after Yu-Gi-Oh gets his sword back, because, you know, they are going to fight. But again, we'll get to that really soon. Because after this, you know, Alice starts talking about what's gonna happen, you know, where are they going from here. They're gonna have to, you know, go obviously find the Pontifex. And Kirito asks, you know, I've been hearing a lot about Senator Chudokin. What are these senators? And Alice explains a little bit of what a senator is supposed to be. Basically, they're people who watch over all of the human existence that exist in their empire to see if they're following the taboo index or not. They're the people who enforce the taboo index. That Mr. Clean looking guy who looks like a zombie every single time someone disobeys the index, he shows up in that little, you know, black hole to scare you to death. That's them. You get to see them in the episode, and they're in some rough shape. Let me tell you, Alice recalls, you know, a time where she actually was able to talk to the Pontifex, but this was a long time ago. This was 6 years when she was still a little kid. She was able to see her, and she said she was scared to death. The reason why she felt like she couldn't disobey her, that she couldn't, you know, go up against her, is because she was scared, not because she actually cared about her in any way. Because who would? She's like the super powerful being. But anyway, they open this door that, you know, leads to all the senators, and they look like zombies. They look like they've been in there for thousands upon thousands of years, just chanting, you know, system call or generating this or that, just doing all these spells and sacred arts. And like you see like this loud, like, or you hear the cloud beep, and like this weird sort of gooish like food comes out. I'm assuming that's what's keeping them alive. Some sort of nutritious, probably strawberry flavored goo that comes out, and it's just like, well, that's what they eat. They chant system calls or sacred arts all day, and they just eat this goo. And obviously this is freaking messed up. Even Kirito says, you know, she probably just went around the land, found anybody who was good at doing sacred arts, and just stole them and just put them in these pods. And then it gets her mad. Obviously, after this, we get to see Senator Chudokin, and this is very important. A lot of important things happen right here. This little conversation that's happening right here. He gets pissed off. He's upset. For like 30 seconds, we hear him. He's like, oh no, what's going on? And we get to see he's looking at this weird little crystal ball thing. And if you look really closely, I'm going to put it up on the screen. You see the Pontifex there with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's really quick. It was hard for me to get it. It's really quick. You see her pulling Yu-Gi-Oh towards him, doing her weird little, you know, sex tease thing that she's doing. And we get to see it. So I don't know if it's happening right then and there, or this is like, you know, in the future a little bit. Like, is it happening right there when they're there, or like is this, you know, a little bit of lag in time? I'm not really sure. And then, you know, Alice gets a hold of him. He's like, bro, if you try anything, I will kill you right here. I am not joking. And then he goes into this whole entire monologue for whatever reason about how, you know, yes, you were right, you know, we tricked you, we stole your memories, we did this and that to you. And he's basically just having a grand old time remembering how she was before she became an Integrity Knight. And like, he gets off on this. It's a little weird. Everyone in the freaking Axiom Church is just a little bit weird. If you notice, he's weird, the Pontifex is weird, some of these Integrity Knights are a little bit weird, like the little kid with the poison daggers. It's just like everyone's a little bit messed up. and you get to see exactly, what happened to her and her experience. What's really important besides this little crystal ball that we see here is the fact that Alice mentions something that he says is that there's a difference between a regular synthesized ritual and a forced one. Because Alice did not want to go through this ritual, she had to go through a forced ritual and not one that she did by choice. What it seems like to me from last episode, Yu-Gi-Oh didn't go through a forced synthesized ritual. He went through one manually. He chose to. Yeah, he was tricked, he was manipulated, but he didn't fight back. He was able to get synthesized by the Pontifex without being forced to. So maybe this makes him stronger somehow. Maybe this makes the bonds that he needs to break even stronger, because obviously Alice didn't want to go through it, so she was forced. So she does this cool thing where she's like, okay, now that you've talked enough and you said everything that you wanted to say, boom, I'm gonna stab you. And it looks like he dies, but he doesn't die. He blows up. He's like, he seems like he was up to something the whole entire time. So he blows up, and this red mist covers the whole entire area, right? It covers the whole entire area that they are currently in. And after that, they run in after him because, he's trying to escape. And something really important, again, you guys can't miss this, before they catch up to him or they catch up to the room that he goes into, he starts chanting a system called Generate Luminous Element. In the subtitles, you don't see him finish it, but if you listen to it, he says Luminous Element. And what does the luminous element do? It does a lot of things. It has stuff to do with healing, with light, with changing the way things look. So I think he didn't actually get away. He's hidden somewhere in that room, but he's invisible. That's my theory. My theory is that he did not actually leave this room because he couldn't have been that fast. And also the area where Yu-Gi-Oh is about to enter, because this is where we finally meet Yu-Gi-Oh close to the end of the episode, of course, because they don't want to start the fight now. The fight next week better be freaking long. I think the senator is hidden in there and he's invisible. Mark my words, this is what's gonna happen. Just in case the fight goes south, or maybe Yu-Gi-Oh starts to get convinced, he's in there. He's not very far. He's in there. So when Yu-Gi-Oh and Alice meet up, they already see him. Their own homeboy is there. He got the drip. He got the new armor. He's looking all spick and span, but he's definitely synthesized. He's definitely an integrity knight now. Alice is like, this is not, who you think it is. He's definitely not on our side anymore, so you got to be careful. And then he's like, oh, do you know who I am, Yu-Gi-Oh? He's like, no, but thank you for bringing my sword. This man uses freaking telekinesis. And he takes the sword right out of Kirito's pocket, brings it straight to him. He's like, thank you, this is mine now. And he's like, bro, I don't even want to hear anything that you have to say. I don't care about you. I don't care about Alice. I don't care about your circumstance. The Pontifex gives me everything that I need. And then Kirito's like, well, is what you need or what she's giving you more important than Alice? And he's like, I don't know, and I don't want to know. This dude, he's not even letting Kirito's words really get to him. And I'm guessing it's because the synthesized ritual that he went through wasn't forced. So, he willingly gave up the memories that he had. So he's not going to get them back so easily. Maybe he needs the dagger. I don't know if he even still has it on him. But basically, he draws this sword, and Kirito's like, you know what? You may have forgotten this, but you learned all of your skills from me, homeboy. You learned all of your fighting skills from me, and I'm the master, and I ain't ready to lose yet. So they get ready to fight. They take their stance, they dash towards each other, and man, that's the end of the episode. I am so hyped for next week, man, because for the longest time, whether they're on the same side or not, I wanted to see them fight. They're both good at what they do, even though Yu-Gi-Oh knows everything that he knows basically from Kirito. This is going to be a good fight. I can feel it. They both have amazing swords with really good object control things. Yu-Gi-Oh's got the blue rose sword. He can freeze everything. Kirito's got that weird, wind ability that we only really saw him use one time. He never released the memories of this thing though. He did the object control thing on it. He was able to, release its, savage power, but he never released the memory. So it has another mode that we haven't even seen yet. Excited for next week, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of the review. I appreciate, your comments or your thoughts. Anything I could do to make it better besides make it on time. And that's it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again next week. So, peace. I'm gone.